All right. I am live. Um, Give me a second. Let me get all caught up. Hmm. Well, thank you guys for being here. KJ, thank you so much for being the first one in here. Let's see who else um comes in today. I don't know if anybody else is going live today. Um, I kind of looked real quick, but I didn't see anybody scheduled for anytime soon. So hopefully I'm not cutting into anybody. Hey, hello, Renee. This is kind of like it is sort of an impromptu live stream. Kyle, how's it going, man? And it's something that has kind of been on my mind. I've been lately. Hey, Steven, Auntie K, thank you guys for joining me. Hmm. It is something that I've been thinking about almost even before the end of the year as to what is it exactly that I'm trying to do with my channel. Um, and the reason I say that is because if you guys don't know by now, obviously, I've got like 3 different. Jungle Nook, I am so happy you're here. I am desperately trying to get a hold of you, but I don't have an email. I don't have a way to contact you. I don't know if my email should be there should be a ticker or I don't know what they call it, a little banner scrolling at the bottom. Um, if it's there, you can copy that. The reason I'm trying to get a hold of you is because I would love to invite you on to be a guest on one of my live streams because there's so much I want to ask you about what you got going on with your channel and also just in general the plants and the aquariums and all that stuff. I've been following you for a little bit now. Hey, Ben, Bambi, ¿cómo estás? Gracias por estar aquí, amigo. And there's so much I wanna ask you, and I love it if you could come on as a guest. As a matter of fact, look, I'm not even gonna lie. Part of what I was gonna do today, I was gonna talk about some of the guests that I'd love to be able to have on my channel for this year, and let me show you real quick. Your name's on there. So I am so happy that you're here. Hopefully we can link up um, and see if we can make something happen. But yeah, that was part of what I wanted to do today, and what I was getting at was I'm not sure. I wasn't sure exactly which direction I can try. I'm slow low tech on computer skills. My email is real easy. My email is Mexicali Fishkeeper at gmail.com. If not, if there's another way that we can communicate that you might have, I'd be more than happy to give you my phone number. Of course, I'm not going to do it here publicly, although probably about half of you already have it anyway. So probably wouldn't be too much, but I just don't want other people calling me. That's not somebody that I know. Mm. Oh, and what I was getting at is my channel originally started for with me sharing what's been going on in the fish room and stuff like that. And I've kind of done that. You guys have seen me go from starting off with a few tanks to going a little bit crazy at the beginning of last year and then going on the opposite direction and downsizing pretty much to what you guys see behind me. And it was interesting because Happy Place Aquatics was doing a live stream last night. And I was really interested because he was going kind of through the same situation and having a downsize, but it seemed like he was having a much harder time with it um, than I guess I did. And it's not. And he said something really interesting. He said it's because I really love my aquariums and the hobby and the sanity that it gives them, which I can kind of relate to all that. And I'm not gonna lie, I've even said it. It was a little bit difficult to rip off that band-aid. Um, but once I did it, uh, it wasn't too bad. And it's funny because Funk actually told me, dude, you're gonna be surprised. He was one of the first persons that I mentioned to that I was thinking about downsizing, and it was so interesting because I went to him and I thought he was gonna tell me, don't do it, dude. You should just keep the room the way it is and all this and that. But surprise to me, as soon as I said it, he goes, do it. And I was like, it kind of took me back for a little bit. I was like, what do you mean do it? He goes, dude, it's the best decision I've ever made. And I remember right at the time that I started following Funk, it's when he had just downsized his outdoor shed that he had at the one of he's since I've known him, he's moved twice. So he was moving out of this place where he had a breeding room and he was doing all these other projects. And sorry, I just don't want my cigar to go out. And it was really, really interesting to take his perspective from it. And I had to do a really good inventory of myself as to why I would really had that many tanks. And part of it was um, I tend to be impulsive in nature. And even though I knew I wanted to breed stuff, I was always very adamant that if I was going to do that, I was trying to set myself up to do it further down the road. And what do I mean by that? Either for some odd reason my employment situation changed or the schedule at work changed, which that had been teased at us for almost a year now, and it still hasn't happened. And I don't think it's going to happen. Um, but in all honesty, what I should have done is waited for those things to happen. But yet, me being me, jumped the gun and started building and doing all this other stuff with the expectations that my schedule, my current schedule was going to change. I'm smoking the stogie. Yeah, I wish I could do those too, but I can't. Mm, yeah, June. But I kind of got ahead of myself under the expectation that things were going to happen instead of waiting for things to play out. I kind of did that. And then the other reason behind it obviously was as a content creator, that was like the perfect excuse to create content. You know, instead of being original and thinking about other things that I could potentially do, I took the easy way out. I took the gimme, which is anytime you're gonna build a fish room, you're gonna have several videos you're gonna be able to pull from that. And I'm not opposed to that. I actually enjoy watching other people build their fish rooms, but in my situation, I knew that I was probably gonna get it over my head because my schedule is so unstable. And the idea behind building that many tanks was because I wanted to start breeding. I wasn't really breeding anything too difficult. Um, but nonetheless, it was breeding live bearers and stuff like that. And I was having pretty good success. Well, the other problem that comes into play, um, the GJI mic, that's a good mic, George. Um, what was I kind of lost my thought. Oh, the other thing was, I thought I do, and I still do have a relationship with the store, but I thought it was going to be a lot easier for me to kind of pick up and drive, like once a month and offload fish and in return get some stuff like something in exchange for what I was taking up there, whether it was money or whether it was credit, because that was always an option that Joe had always given me from the chlorophyll corner. He would ask me, "Do you want money or do you want credit?" And because I had a working fish room, I figured I could trade some of this stuff in and get some other species that I normally don't get access to, and we'll just call it even or whatever. So I would get the value of whatever he was giving me for credit and turning around and picking up some stuff that I could use in the fish room, which really, if I'm being honest, really worked out. It was I think we both benefited from it. Um, there was no what do I want to say? No hard feelings on that. So I was happy with that arrangement. I didn't have a problem with it. But it was really one of those things where it's like sometimes I would have the time, in the month to do it. And then there's other times where it would get so busy or I ended up working overtime unexpectedly. Unexpected. Well, okay. I know the word. You can say it. Unexpected. Lee. I'm cheating. Um, and those are things that I can't control. So, what would have been a month and it turned 2 months, and then, you know, my my days off are few and far in between. Um, like for example, this is a perfect example of the beginning of the year, which I'm not complaining because it's going to come in handy. I haven't had a day off yet. I was supposed to be off tomorrow and go back into work on Thursday. This week I've already worked. What was it? Three, four 12-hour shifts, and I'm having to start my graveyard shifts early, so I'm going in tomorrow night. Technically, it's supposed to be a day off, but it's not a day off if you can't do anything in that day. So I start working on that, and then I'll be working my regular graveyard shift, which is well, actually now it's become 7 days plus three. That's 10 days, which is cutting into my days off at the end of that. And then I turn around and start it all over again. So basically, half of this month I'm going to spend working. Um, so those are just kind of the things that in reality, um, were becoming a little bit more unenjoyable with having so many tanks. Some of the tanks really started looking bad because I couldn't keep up with the maintenance. I would slack off on it. I'd come home from working, and I just didn't feel like messing around with them. Not that I was set up in a way where I could do it relatively quick, but nonetheless, it still lends itself for a lot of neglect. And I'm going to be totally honest. Um, I was kind of struggling a little bit at the beginning with the idea of downsizing. But once I started doing it, it really changed my perspective. I personally tank is less than a month away from 1 year. Oh, great. And yours actually looks pretty good. You got all those angelfish in there. It's like a 55 if I'm not mistaken, because I remember being on Funks and you were showing us that tank. Mm. And it's kind of been reinvigorating, I guess, to be able to go down. And it allows me to put a lot more thought into what I am putting together. That's why that one up there is still sitting empty. Because I really want to take my time and think about what I want to do with it. Kind of like what I did with this one back here, and what I've done with this one and that one up there. It's kind of like those are kind of like the display tanks that I truly enjoy. Excuse me, because I've taken the time to set them up correctly. Now there's a big difference too. Um, Now I have a lot of resources at hand that allow me to do this stuff. Uh, yeah, it allows me to do this stuff because when I broke down tanks, I had excessive plants. Now I've got two tanks, 255s that are growing out all my extra. I top off tanks daily. Other than that, I clean the glass with the magnet, only the front glass, never the backside. Yeah, and some of mine are set up that way too. No chemicals at all. Yeah, I'm not a big um not that I dislike chemicals. I just don't find the need for them. If I'm being totally honest, um, I think chemicals can be good in given situations, but I think they also kind of become a crutch for a lot of people. And by always relying on chemicals, you don't really learn the basics. And the minute problems pop up, you're not really well equipped to deal with the situation. I'm a big fan of allowing a tank to season out without the use of that, and you learning by experience, because it's gonna pay dividends in the long run. So I think it's important that at least one of your aquariums you kind of let it cycle through without accelerating the cycling of the tank. see what happens if you don't use ferts. See what happens if you do. Those kind of things is what I usually would advocate for people to try, especially if you have more than one tank. Chemical kills the life you don't see and cannot. Yeah, I depending on the chemicals you're using. I know there's a big concern with using tap water. All I know is anecdotal stories of people killing all their fish because they use tap water. I've tried using tap water on some of the aquarium. I have a little um, potting. It was a planter. That's the word I'm looking for. That I converted into an outdoor plant pond. What the hell? Spit out the words. And I've been topping it off with just regular water from the hose. Granted, I don't have anything expensive in there, but I haven't seen an issue, a real issue, where fish are dying out. I've never had any fish die because of a water change on that situation. Now I know there are seasonal chemicals that are added to water. At least I know that to be true because there's times where I turn on the shower and you can smell the chlorine coming out of the shower, but it's not all year long. So I guess that's kind of, I guess you could say that would be playing Russian roulette. But when I open the tap, I don't necessarily open it directly into the tank. I'll let it run because, one, depending on the time of the year, either the water is really, really hot or really, really cold. And I just let it come out of the hose and drain it out. And then I'll start topping off once it reaches whatever ambient temperature it's supposed to be at. And that gives me time to be able to perceive if there's an excess of chlorine. Well, chlorine is what they use here. They don't use chloramine. At least that's what the website for the city says. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. Hmm. Yeah, that's kind of what I do. I do smell the water to see what it's doing. So that's kind of that, but I'm kind of going off topic. Again, I kind of was looking at that, and the truth is, with less tanks, there's less ideas of what I can do, and as far as videos are concerned. I mean, I've shared some of my views on certain topics. Um, uh, I mean, there's always room for improvement on some of those videos and stuff like that, and they might readdress them in the future or not. But one of the things that, hey, Cecil, thanks for coming in. Let me see. We just had recently Cecil come in. Aquaballs George, thanks for being here. Alex, um, True, I have Waterwell. Okay, that's the Jungle Nook. June, Kimco, Auntie. Who else? Ian Davis. Mm, I've seen you around now. Now that they went to this, sometimes they change the channel names, so maybe that's why I'm having a hard time. Um, I know I've seen the name before. Uh, Steve from Flowers with Horns. Steve is another guy on this list. So here's what's going to happen for 2026. I've been really getting inspired by watching. You guys. I've always been upfront that one of the biggest inspirations for my style of doing these interviews and stuff like that is because I do watch a lot of the the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. And recently, within the last month, I've found two different podcasters from Mexico. One of them, I believe his name is Javier Paniagua, focuses more on interviewing musicians. And then there's what I would equate to being the Mexican Joe Rogan. He's not a comedian. He's actually a relatively young guy. And his name is Roberto Martinez, who has a channel called Creativo. I didn't know these people existed until towards the end of last year. And one of the things that I really found interesting about Creativo when I was looking at his channel and his catalog of videos, he's doing something that I've tried to do, but my mistake has always been that I've tried to keep it separated. Whereas what he does interviews and he keeps them all in the same group, whether if it's in English or in Spanish, because he'll interview people in English and he keeps them all in the same catalog. The beauty of it is now with the advent of Google and their ability to be able to translate stuff, a lot of those videos, if they're in a different language, they get translated to whatever language you choose. I know YouTube allows you to pick what languages to translate your videos if you want to get further reach. For me, my only concern is that the people that follow me that only speak English and are curious to see what the conversation's about, they have that ability to have it through the translations. And those are the only things I'm concerned, and vice versa for the people that follow me that speak Spanish and want to know what's going on in the English conversations, for them to be able to have the automatic translator to come on. So those are the two options that I've picked for YouTube to automatically do on some of the videos. Now, is the translation 100%? No, not really. But I think it's advanced enough to get the gist of what's going on in the conversation. There's still a lot of errors and a lot of mistakes, because I was watching a couple of the interviews that he did, and one of them was from an MMA fighter from Mexico called Lazy Boy, and there was a couple of times where it was totally translating the words that they were saying, but that's okay. But the general gist of what was going on, you could get it from context, and but it's only getting better. Thank you, Fish Fam Link. It's if you haven't gone to Fish Fam Link's webpage recently, you really ought to go check it out. They have revamped that thing. It looks 100% better. It took me a little while to figure out because they moved some of the icons and stuff like that, but it's actually going to be a little bit more intuitive, which makes it easier. Hey, Joe, thanks for coming in. Asia. Yeah, Asaya. Sorry. One of these days I'll get it right. And for me, I want to read it as Asia, but I know you pronounce the H at the end, I think. Yeah, so that's where I always get tripped up. And what was I saying? Oh, so go check out. It's really good. I mean, I'm surprised that everybody that's in this niche is not really using it. I noticed that they've incorporated from other. It's not just fish anymore. They have some reptile content in there. I don't know if it's opened up for everybody in general. You're saying it right. Oh, okay. Thank you. So yeah, definitely go give them what they do for us is incredible. I mean, they especially if you have a regularly scheduled live stream. I used to take advantage of that. I don't anymore because my live streams are so random as everything else that I do. So that kind of prohibits me, but I know that if I give them enough heads up, they'll still put it on there. I think it's like 30 minutes, if not more. I try to give them at least a day, and I know it puts it on when you go to check out who's watching. It'll be on there, and I've looked in the past, and it pops up in there. So if you don't have something that's regularly scheduled as an E, okay. Damn it, talk too much. Someone asked me how to get a Fish Fam app. Don't remember how I got it. You can go to Google Play or Apple Store, depending on the format. I'm an Android guy, so I go to Google Play and it's there. That's where I got it. And if you get the app, what's really cool, even if you're not subscribed to some of the channels that are going live, it'll still send you a notification if you don't turn off the notifications. So it's a good way to discover new channels that are out there that we're not aware, that I haven't made you aware, because there's a lot of channels that I haven't even found. There's new ones popping up every day. So, and that's kind of what I was going to get at for what I'm expecting to do in 2026. I will still try to do videos, but it'll be more of situational stuff. And what do I mean by that? Um, if I happen to be traveling somewhere and there's an opportunity to either do a video on somebody's fish room or a video of a store or an event, that's pretty much what most of my videos are probably going to consist for this year. So they're going to be based on, hey, what's up, Jesse? So they're going to be pretty much based on situations. That's really what it is. But I think the bulk of what you're going to see from me this channel is I'm going to start leaning in a little bit harder, not that I wasn't already, into doing some of the interviews. And as I come across some channels that I feel that you guys would enjoy, and that'll still continue to be the only thing with the plug. It's kind of dependent as to what's coming up as far as newer channels. And the reality is a lot of these channels start off with a lot of enthusiasm, but then it's difficult to stay on top of it because it does require some work and some time, and they slowly start dropping, which is fine. I mean, you're going to have some of that attrition happen. So, but I'm really happy that I was looking back at some of the people that I was able to not only find but also have interviews with, really having success. And I think that's like super cool, and to watch them grow. That to me is the most exciting part of what I do, is watching these channels continue to grow, surpass where I'm at, and have success. That is super fun to watch. One of the ones that comes to mind is Fish List. I love what he's doing. I love his videos, and he's putting in the work. He's somebody that I truly have enjoyed watching what he's been doing, and I think he's just going to continue to grow, and I think that's really fun. If you get the chance to do the interview with Mexicali, it's a blast. That's the other thing. I don't know. I'm not watching on YouTube, which maybe I should. But is there a banner on the bottom of this that has my email? Let's see. Let me try to see if I can bring it up. Let's see. It's funny. It doesn't send me notifications to my own live streams. I always have to look for them. Mexicali Fishkeeper. No. Okay. So let's see what happened, because I put it in here. Scroll across the bottom. Oh, this is it. It's off. Why is it off? Is it on? Oh, there it is. I see it now. Okay. Here's part of what I want to do also. If you're interested, this is no obligation on anybody, but if you really would be interested in being one of my guests, feel free to reach out. Send me an email, and we'll make it happen. We'll figure out a time and a date that works for the both of us, and we'll just make it happen. I mean, and it doesn't matter. Don't be thinking, oh, I only have like one subscriber. I don't give a shit about that. That's not really what this is about. For me, it's more of having a conversation with somebody. I don't know how many of you guys know who Theo Vaughn is. He's a comedian. And one of the things I like about his podcast is that he brings on, a lot of the times, everyday people guests. Where a lot of the big celebrity podcasts that are out there will bring on other celebrities, right? And that's understandable. They intermingle in the same circles. Don't fall for that. I ended up being like the whatever podcast, and he attacks you. Okay. I didn't realize that you felt that way, but okay. is an idiot. Well, he might be an idiot. He might not be. I don't know. But what I do know is that he does bring in people that he just wants to have a conversation with, and and he doesn't. He's not looking for clout necessarily. I mean, if he was, he would only stick around with celebrities. And I'm kind of the same way. It's not, I want to get to know people. Everybody has a story. Everybody. Because we're all individuals. Now, how much of that story you want to share, that's totally up to you too. I'm not going to be able to force somebody to say stuff that they don't want to say, but um I just find it really, really interesting. I did not realize you started taking me seriously. When have I not, Jesse? You're a little sensitive today, aren't you? um, and so it's one of those things where if you're really interested, send me an email, and like I said, we'll make it happen. I do have a short list right now of people that I've started reaching out to. I have 10 people that I'm in the works of trying to schedule them for just kidding, don't read well in text. Okay. No, you're not understanding. Oh, okay. Oh, for the whatever. Hmm. Sorry about that. It's just this thing's about to go out. And so you know, that's kind of what I wanted to share with you guys so that you guys can kind of see what's going on. Um and a lot of these here's where here's where I need to I'm doing this because in a way I need somebody else to hold me accountable for what I'm doing. Last year, I lacked total organization. There was actually some guests that had agreed to come on, but because I was so um unorganized, I wasn't able to schedule anything with them. And one of them might bite me in the butt, because come to find out he had said yes, and I hadn't checked my Instagram. That's the problem, though, that I do try to reach out to people on different platforms, and I wasn't diligent about checking out the platforms. And I've always been a blast every time I was a guest. I've always had a good time with anybody that's been on. It's I, it's fun to get to know people, and you know, it's some people, but people are all different. Some people are a little bit more reserved and quiet, and hey, Louise, and some other people are a little bit more outgoing, but that still doesn't mean that you can't spend a little while and we can see what happens and have a little bit of a conversation. I think I've gotten comfortable enough and figured out enough, that I can probably ask you a couple of questions that at least will open you up a little bit or make you feel a little bit more relaxed, and you can share a little bit about what you want to share, because you're not by any means obligated to share your entire life story on here. That's not what it's about. But I think as being part of the community, a lot of us do have that innate interest in getting to know a little bit more about who you are and what you're doing and stuff like that. And that's genuinely where my curiosity comes from when I have guests on. This last year, it was really cool for me because I've been doing this for a while, but I don't know how it worked out really, but I got to be on somebody else's live stream, Big Jack, who's got nothing to do with the hobby, nothing to do with the hobby. As a matter of fact, he'll pop in here once in a while, and I've kind of would like to say that at least there's become an acquaintance that we've created, which depending on how it goes, it can really become a friendship. And it was really interesting because he invited me on as a guest, and even though I kept fish and some of the questions were about the fish, it was more about who I was. And that really I found that so interesting, that I was like, well, maybe it's time for me to venture out also and bring people that I find interesting. And oh, sorry, I got to take this real quick. Hold on. That was my wife. Um, we haven't seen each other in about a week. Because I've been working a lot, and she got some time off for New Year's, so she went to my daughter's house. She came home yesterday, but I was at work. When I came home, she was at work, and since I had to get up and work this morning, by the time she got home, I was already asleep. So I really haven't seen her. And but she thought I was still at work. I said, she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm on a podcast." She goes, "How can you be at a podcast at work?" I said, "No, I'm at the house." She goes, "What do you mean?" She goes, "I'm all confused." I said, "Yeah, I'll explain it when you get home." But that's what that was. That's why I had to take that. What was I saying? Oh, that I think I'm gonna if I because I consume a lot of other content outside of the I guess the fish fam or the fish community. Then I'll invite them on to be a guest, and we'll see how that goes. If you find that kind of stuff interesting, then I'll continue to do that. Um, if I see it's something that you guys don't really care about, then we'll continue to go with what's been working so far. Um, but one of the things that will change is that I am no longer going to separate my live streams from the Spanish and the English. It's all going to be one catalog. That is what's going to happen. And but I'll make sure that it's enabled so that um, at least as a replay you can watch the 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 closed captions where it'll translate what was being said. For a lot of you guys have always been super awesome. June in particular is one of those that I always see. Doesn't matter if it's in Spanish or in English, she's always there. She's a ride or die. And a few other you guys, but ever since day one, and I would tell her sometimes, "Hey, Jude, this is good." And she goes, "I don't care." She likes the community, and she would hang out. And well, I hope that's I guess one of the reasons why my wife likes me, because she finds it sexy, I guess. Um, but yeah, that's one of the things you'll definitely see different for 2026. I you'll be able to tell. Um, even well, no, you can't tell off of the names. You know what the telltale sign will be this in the description, where if you open up the description about when I talk about the guest or who they are, it's either going to be in English or it's going to be in Spanish. If it's in Spanish, it's a Spanish speaking guest. If it's in English, then it's an English speaking guest. It'll be that simple. Um, feel my friends and but that is one thing that'll be definitely different. Again, I want to start out the year with the list of these 10 that I have right now. Um, First one off the list that I'm trying to work with, I already have them scheduled for the 28th of this month, just because of what the days are. It's a Wednesday. Is Aqualust, which is Billy. Billy, he is the other half of the Wet Floor podcast with Uncle Joe's Fish Shed. I had Uncle Joe on, then I had Billy and Joe on for their podcast, and I'm going to bring Billy back for his channel. And he's one of the guys that I'm going to talk to. Like I said, we've got that scheduled out. The other one that I'm waiting on, and it's he's already agreed that he wants to do it. He's just waiting for some equipment, I guess, and that's going to be Flowers with Horns, Steve. And I'm really, really interested in talking to him because I want to see what the hobby is like in Hawaii. And And so I'm really excited. I know it's something we tried doing last year. We just couldn't come together as a time and date. And so it is what it is. But this year he reached out almost towards the end of the year or beginning of the year, and he said he was ready to go. So that's in the works. I don't have a date because I'm just waiting on Steve, but that's going to definitely happen. Jungle Nook. I was just he's just in here. Um, we just got to get in touch and we'll work out on a date and time where we can make it happen. It sounds like it's something that he definitely wants to do. So that'll be another one. If you haven't seen his channel, uh, it's very interesting because not only does he like aquariums, which he doesn't have quite as many as that, but it's the volume of the houseplants. And I think his channel's been around for a couple of years. And I was going today, as a matter of fact, I was going back to see which his oldest video was because I wanted to find out if he started out as a plant channel that eventually got into the fish hobby. But it was really interesting. Yeah, he's he has 25 tanks. He actually started as a fish channel, which was I was really surprised because of the amount of houseplants that he has now. I would have never, if you go look at his channel, you would have never guessed that he started out as an aquarium channel. But it's the plants have also been hand in hand. And I love, and I'm going to go take a deep dive now because I hadn't gone that far back. He started out with the aquariums at the same time as the plants did. And now to see how much it's evolved to its current state is extremely fascinating. He's definitely got a green thumb. Which is one of the other reasons why I really want to talk to him because I want to pick his brain. I started doing a little bit of it. He's at a different level. He's I'm here. He's like way up here. He's way above head and shoulders over a lot of people that had to let some plants grow out. Yeah, but he's got. I mean, it is. I'm just wondering if it's going to become a jungle next year. I mean, like a legitimate jungle where the plants start overtaking the structure and and it just because it reminds me. Okay, if you ever seen Jumanji and where the house converts into a jungle, I think that'll be his house next year. At the rate that the plants are growing and how well they're going, that I think he's going to be the real life Jumanji. But he's one that I'm really looking forward and excited that it seems like it is going to happen. The other one that I really wanted to talk to was also Sweet Johnny's Pond and Aquariums. He popped up in my radar this year. I haven't really gone back to see when he really started posting his first videos. Hey, beautiful. How you doing? Good. I love you. Love you too. And he's been diligent. He's been putting out about a video a week, very interesting topics. At least for me, I it's stuff that Sweet John, yeah, that's the guy that's out there in Georgia. And I had kind of told you about him. So it looks like I sent him an email. Now we just got to find a date and time to make it happen. The one that I think that I blew and screwed up really bad because this is another one. It's funny now that I think about it. All these kind of have the same theme: aquariums and plants. Is Adrian's Fish Room, and that one I think I messed up really bad because last year, right at the beginning of summer, I had sent him a Instagram message, and he replied, and I never freaking checked it. And I just recently reached out to him again. And I don't know if it's just because of the timing of the year or whatever, but he hasn't responded. So I'm hoping I didn't piss him off. If I did, I understand because it was totally my fault. I fell short on that. But hopefully it's just because I sent him a message probably about a couple of days ago. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it does come together because I would be really excited to talk to him. Same thing, he's in a different country. Obviously, if you don't follow him, he's in Australia, which I'm pretty sure most of you guys follow him or at least know of him. he has a really good friendship with Nick of Keep Fish Simple, and they're always collabing together and stuff like that. So I just really like Adrian's personality. He's a troll. He's one of the best trolls out there. He has a great video that he put out where he's trolling his viewers because viewers are just being nosy. And ever since I saw that, I said, "No, I need to talk to him. I definitely need to talk to him." You're another jungle room guy. Not yet. Hoping to be there someday. Uh, the next one that I have on this list, and these are by no means in any order. There's just a list that I compiled of channels that I was trying to reach out and hopefully be able to get in touch with them. It's 10-gallon fish tanks. He recently interviewed Kyle. He's one of the channels that I had. I think sometime at the beginning of this year had come across this channel. I find it really interesting. Even more after I hearing the interview with Kyle, because he's got a business background, which now it makes a lot of sense. I think he's one of the few, and this is all an assumption because I haven't spoken to the guy, that I think really thought in advance how he was going to set up his fish room and what his ultimate goal is. And a lot of his videos talk about how you can make money off of your fish room. And all his biggest thing is you don't need anything bigger than a 10-gallon fish tank. He has multiple 10-gallon fish tanks. But the guy's a mover. The guy's a hustler and a mover, and he's on regularly putting on content. You know, he's really good about promoting his memberships and all this other stuff. And if that's your goal to make money, then you should take a lot of inspiration from what he's doing. So hopefully, he said he as a matter of fact, I'm trying to see if I can make that happen this Friday. I was still waiting for a response for him for confirmation. So that might happen as soon as this Friday. Elite Menagerie Habitats, Louise. I don't know if she's still around, but we already agreed on the date and time. I'm going to have her on the 17th. And and it's going to be great because she'll be doing it from her store. And that's going to be really awesome. And I'm really looking forward to that. I'm kind of jealous that Nick gets to go and in my tanks and hang out in that fish store. For those of you that don't know my connection to that store was when the Keystone Clash was going on. There was a brief moment there where I thought I was going to be able to go, and I was looking at flights leaving out of obviously of Philadelphia, and there was a big time discrepancy, I guess, from what the flight that was going to bring me back home, and by the time I had to check out of the from the hotel, that I was looking for places that I could go visit and try to take advantage and create, excuse me, some content. And I typed in, I think, like the best fish stores in Philadelphia, and I think she was either number 2 or number 3. I'm kind of here. I can't wait to the chat up with all with y'all, and so I was like really intrigued, and I noticed that was a little bit outside of the actual Philadelphia, I guess, metro area. And I just obviously I typed in the name into YouTube to see what would come up, and I think there was a couple of store tour videos that a couple of people had done, and I really liked the store. That store reminds me a lot of the Chlorophyll Corner, and my other favorite store, which is the Pet Zone up in San Diego and Kearney Mesa, and that store has that similar vibe. And ever since then, I've been really intrigued by what she's doing there, and I Nick went up there and he actually did a live stream from the store, which was really neat. And so I'm really looking forward to being able to sit down and talk with Louise. So that's definitely happening, unless act of God happens and something happens along the way that we don't. But that's scheduled, and I'll be releasing the thumbnail for that pretty soon. The nice black angels. Okay. And then the other person that I'm really intrigued because she does something a little bit different is Lindsay Tanks. I think I did this year also. Um, did a plug for her channel, and I am. She does this really cool thing where she uses graphics. Um, Her channel, I think, plays really, really well for a younger audience too. I mean, not that it's dedicated for a younger audience, but the way she does her videos and and the graphics that she uses, um, and the animation that she does on her videos, oh, they go perfect for a really younger audience that's interested in the hobby. Um, and I've been really enjoying. She doesn't put out videos very often, but with the time that she does, I personally think they're very well done. They follow a story. It's always in the form of a story. There's a beginning and an end. Um, Very good editing skills. I mean, it's really good videos. I'm surprised that that channel is not bigger, um, because I think it does deserve a lot more attention. Um, the other one that I want to interview, and this is somebody that Ty from the Koi Pit um, told me about, is a Life Exotic. Uh, I think he lives in the same city as Ty in Utah, and he kind of converted. Going back and watching his videos, I thought it was his house, but it's his parents' house, where I guess it's the backyard or something. Converted it into a jungle. So I guess that's the theme with all these videos, all these guests, is that they're really into plants and some aquatic stuff. And I didn't really, it didn't dawn on me until right now that I'm talking about this, that's the connection with a lot of these channels. Uh, so I don't know, maybe that speaks as to what speaks to me or in my current phase of the hobby, that it intrigues me and makes me want to talk to them and find out what's going on. The last one on this list, because that was number 9, is somebody that I've been following for a very long time, have taken some inspiration from what they do, and I really love his chill vibe, and that's LRB Aquatics. He's one that I haven't reached out to. We've kind of exchanged messages on TikTok, which is interesting. Um, and a couple of times back and forth on some of his recent live streams. So I think there's a good possibility now that I think I've kind of created a little bit of rapport, that I won't come off as a weirdo asking him to see if he would be interested in coming on as on a live stream. So those are the ones that I'm currently, irons that I have in the fire, and trying to come together. 2 of those are already scheduled. That's the other thing that I'm doing different this year, is that I'm actually scheduling them into my phone, in my calendars, and putting reminders and doing all these things to try to become better at what I'm doing, more organized, and not make some of the same mistakes. I know I had reached out to Charles Fishkeeper, and he had said yes, and I never got back to him with the time and date because I got busy, and when I would remember, it would be late at night, and I never followed through with it. And I don't want that to happen again. I definitely don't want that to happen again. I want to be able to be more organized. I think by me downsizing too, it allows me to focus on this a little bit better instead of running around and trying to, in the little bit of time that I have, um, not being able to do what I want to do because I have to do some other things. One of the big steps that I took to trying to organize myself was, obviously, you guys have seen this before, is using this a little bit more. It's not a planner, but it's more of a notebook. And it also helps me keep track of the people that I want to do plugs for. People, if it's got a check mark, it's people that I've already done. So I'm trying to find different ways, um, to condense everything in one place and and be better. I have to be better this year. Um, this is what I really enjoy doing. I love connecting with people. I love networking. One of my favorite things is putting people together, being the middle person. Um, and I hadn't really thought about that, and it's something that I've done my entire life, unbeknownst to me. I because it's something that I innately do, and a lot of it probably has to do with the fact that I'm willing to get to know a lot of people, uh, and in the process of doing that, I've gotten to meet people in different, um, places, in different, what's the word I'm looking for? That do different stuff, different fields, and I never do it with the intention that I'm someday I'm going to reach out to them, but it's been one of those things where I've been able to go. Somebody has a situation or they need some information. I go, oh, I know who you can call, and I can put them together, and they can work out with whatever the question is. Hey, Jake, and that's something that I've always even now I'll have people that reach out to me and say, "Hey, do you know anybody that could help me find these fish?" And it's funny because during the course of doing all of this, I've met different people. I've met people like just one more fish, Jesse, uh, that obviously has access or an abundance, or Ryan from Wild Fish Tanks, Curtis from Skull Aquatics, Mike MNC Aquatics. So these all Ed, how can I forget Ed from Exotic and Aquatics, Exotic Aquatics. And so and it's like one of those things where I just start building this network of people that I know, that if somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, I'm looking for this," I can go, "Oh, I know who can help you out." And that kind of stuff. I don't know how if that were a job. And this really was brought to my attention because I know Kyle was talking about how much he wishes that he could have been in sales, because he feels like he could have been very successful in sales. That's outside in aquatics. When he was getting interviewed for the fish room pucks, I think if there was a job out there where you're kind of like the middle person that can kind of put people together. I've never known what that job is, if it exists or what it's called, but I think I would have been very good at that. I don't like sales. I don't want to be the person that's trying to convince you to buy anything. I detest sales. I don't even like salespersons. Let me put it to you like that. I don't like them, so I would never do that job. I've had opportunities where people have offered me um, sales jobs, and at the time, I could have used the income from those jobs, but I just I unless it's something that I truly believe in, where I'm not trying to sell it to you, um, I think that would be the only way I would be involved with sales. But and it's odd because people say, "Oh, you like to talk a lot." Yeah, but I don't want to bullshit people. And I've always had that feeling with people that work in sales are bullshitters. That's what they are, because they want to make sure you make that purchase. And that to me, um, I don't like that. I might be totally wrong on this, and I might be totally off base on what it is, but I'm telling you that job has always seemed to me. And it might be just because of some of the interactions that I've had. And I just, my wife, she tells me right away, and we're gonna go. It doesn't matter what it is that I'm trying to buy. She always has to. She looks at me and she goes, "You better be nice. Don't be not necessarily." And it doesn't even have to be in fish. Um, because you put fish concierge. I guess it's a concierge, right? No, I mean, I've when I used to work for the air pollution department, I used to be able to put people that were selling, equipment that for those that met the new regulations, whether it was vehicles, whether it was add-on equipment, or whether they were looking for information in certain places. It's just that kind of stuff. I've always had an enjoyment of talking to people and bringing them together. Yeah, I guess kind of like a broker. I guess you would say that. But as long as I don't have to sell you anything, I'm happy. If you're trying to make me to, I don't even sell myself. Let me put it like that. You won't hear me promote any of the shit that I have on here that could generally make money because that's how much I detest it. Um, you'll never see me say like and subscribe at any of my videos. I am my worst own enemy when it comes to that. I just that's how much I detest that whole selling of shit. Um, Social network specialist. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I nowadays I could even make up a name for it if I wanted to. But that those are the things that I enjoy the most. I love my employment. I really like the job that I have now. I love the fact that I've been able to work to get where I'm at. Um, it's not it's not a physically demanding job. Hey, couple of fish, how you doing? Fish liaison. Yeah, no, that's somebody said that too. Aquatic ambassador. Um, yeah, it's kind of those things where I, you know who you are. You've reached out to me. Not even tells. No, I'm terrible. That, yeah, I don't do any of that stuff. I have ideas. It's just I guess because I think everybody's a because I'm very cheap when it comes to that kind of stuff. I think everybody else is, and I'm always trying to find places where I can get stuff done at the price that I would be happy to pay for it, and I can't find them. I can't find that pricing that I like. It's always at a discount and the discount rack at any store. That's the price I like to pay. Hell, even my monetization is at the very monetization the memberships are at the bottom, you know, because that's just you know my whole thing. This is what if I've always um believed the best way you can help me out is just watch my content. Watch the content. Doesn't cost you anything. You can turn it on and leave and whatever. Because what I get from Google, it's fine. You know, I'm not in this to make thousands of dollars or stuff like that. Plus, I'm of the opinion that the more I continue to do this, eventually somebody will want to work with me and they're offering me a sponsorship. I don't want to make money off of the people that are supporting me. I want somebody to come and say, "Hey, we want to work with you, and we're willing to give you this money." Well, not willing, but in exchange for a service. But it's also got to be somebody that I believe in. Um, I've had offers from uh, somebody that was selling fertilizers and stuff like that. I said, "Dude, I'm the wrong guy. I am not the guy. I don't really use them. Um, don't find a need. I'm not doing anything that's like high tech stuff. Um, so no. Matter of fact, and I think I talked about this last time in the time that I did the live stream with Nick and Funk. F Zone actually reached out to me on TikTok, and but I thought this is dirty. They wanted me to the way they work, and I think that's all the sponsors down in TikTok is they want you to buy the product, but they say that they want you to give an honest review. But if they don't like the video or the review, they won't reimburse you for the product. So what does that mean? You're held hostage to doing something that's favorable. Hey, Jody, to a jet side, and I was thinking of merch as a way of people to support the channel with three different prices at the same thing. People, yeah, yeah, you could do that. I noticed that you have the buy me a coffee, and it's kind of the same structure as to what you're talking about there. Uh, so and it was like that's not that's how are you gonna be able to? I don't like it when they hold you hostage to if you don't do something in their favor that they won't let you be honest. And I'm not. I mean, a lot of people say Evzone's a very good product. You know, now I've never used it, so I can't tell you whether it's true or not. And I don't know now, knowing what I know, I don't know how true those opinions are, because if they're under the same scrutiny as what they wanted to put me under to, then of course it's always going to be a favorable review. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I don't, and I get it. They might have had, they were probably forced to do that because some people are just, shady, and they'll take the product and never do the work in exchange for it. That happens too. So they're kind of, I guess it's a catch 22, but I'd rather not be caught up in that. So I just, I told him, I said, yeah, thank you, but no, thank you. And I was kind of interested because I thought I wanted to try some of the CO2 stuff, because that's really what they're kind of sort of known for. But I'm not going to spend the money for something that I don't know if I'm going to really like or not. So I don't know. It's just, that's not a partnership that's for me. So, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not, as a matter of fact, I'm going to be totally honest with you. Uh, Obviously, because we do have a friendship, but because we have a friendship, I told him no. Aquafunk. Aquafunk wanted to give me his food product for me to promote. And I told him no. I said, how am I going to support you as a business if you're giving me your shit for free? And as a friend, how is that supporting you? I pay exactly what you guys pay. As a matter of fact, he's got a discount code for members. I told him I don't even want to use a discount code. It's inexpensive as it is. And and he tells me that, he has no problem with it, but I told him no. I said no. I'd be more than happy to promote your stuff because I believe in your product. But not because you're giving it to me for free, or because we're friends and you think I should do it for free. If we're truly friends, I'm not going to do it for free. If we're truly friends, I'm going to buy the product because, one, I want to support you. Two, I believe in your product. So that was my thing. I said I'll be more than happy to promote something that I believe in. Now, here's the thing with this: if you only have one tank and you want to buy the high end stuff, by all means do it. But when you have multiple tanks, kind of like what I do, because I actually have more than just the four that are back here. I still have several other tanks over there with overstocked with fish. So it's not just these that I'm feeding. And if I wanted to use an expensive brand, I could definitely only sell stuff I believe in. That's why I've never ended up in sales. Never found a job that I felt that I actually believed in. Oh, okay, Kyle. And so it's one of those things where it's not an extreme food, or what's another high end food that's out there? It's not a Sarah food, or what other high end food is out there? Oh, well, I guess for some people Northfin, but I'm going to be honest with you, the stuff that Funk sells, I don't see any difference for the Northfin stuff. Definitely no difference between Aquarium Co-op and what he sells, at a fraction of the price of what Aquarium Co-op pays for the, what they make you pay for theirs. There's really not that big of a difference. And if you ask Nick, if you watch Nick's live stream on that subject, you'll understand why. So it's one of those things where, for what I want it for, it works perfectly fine, and it's not the barrel. It's not the bottom of the barrel either. It's a good food. As a matter of fact, I used to buy Ken's fish food. I had no problems with that food. Only reason I don't buy it is because I don't know Ken, but I do know Funk. And as far as quality, they're pretty much shoulder to shoulder. If maybe even Funk's is a little bit better, because Funk doesn't sell flakes, and I know the flakes that there were some flakes that I would get from Ken's that were not that good. I like their pellets. Definitely not the wafers. The algae wafers, terrible. As a matter of fact, they might have been the same source that Funk initially had sent me, because he sent me some stuff to test out. And I told him, dude, the algae wafers are trash. They are trash. And he goes, oh, that's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to make sure. And then that's what he said. He goes, I tried them my tags, and they didn't do very well either. That was the one food that I never recommended from Ken's Fish Food, because it was really trash. Let me close this side door because it's getting a little chill in here, and I don't have a heater on. What? Go lay down. No, don't start barking. You can lay down there. Yeah, so it's one of those things where I guess that's, at the end of the day, that's just more of a personal choice. And that's what bug bites. Bug bites it's a really good food, but imagine having to pay the price for bug bites to feed all of these tanks. I mean, I have nothing against some of those better quality foods. It's just, it gets cost prohibitive. I don't want to be spending $80 every month just to feed the fish room. It's bad enough I already spent about that much to feed this guy, my Toby. So the last thing I need to do is add that much to the fish room. And so that's why I used to use Ken's Fish Food. And now when Funk told me he was going to start selling and I tried it out, I said, dude, I'm definitely going with your stuff, just because it's just as good, if not better. And the pricing is no comparison. For the quality of stuff you're getting, it's definitely worth it. And I know some of you guys have tried it, so I'm kind of sort of preaching to the choir, but yeah. That was pretty much it, I guess, that I had. I kind of wanted to bring you guys up to speed to what I had planned. Oh, the other thing, travel this year. I think I might be able to do a little bit more traveling. At the what is it? Towards the end of February, I'm going to be flying out to Florida. We're going to a family wedding. Well, acquaintance wedding, or French. One of my wife's friends, her daughter's getting married, and we were asked to go. So we're going to go to that. I might be able to sneak away for maybe a day or two. It's going to be in St. Augustine. I'm flying into Orlando. Realistically, I probably should fly into Jacksonville. Yeah, Jacksonville, because it's only about half an hour from there. But for some reason, the flights are kind of weird, and the dates, and it's weird. I was looking them up, and I don't want to fly Spirit, to be honest. Not that nowadays, I don't think any of the airlines are much better than that. Anyways, they're all kind of just the same trash. It's just a matter of how much you want to pay for the quality of flight. So I'm going to be flying in Orlando, which kind of puts me in the middle of Florida, and I'm going to try to get out to go see Funk. I want to go see his fish room, and maybe go to one of the farms out there, and definitely the store that they're about to open up. So those are kind of some of the things that are planned towards the end of February. Shella, I don't know. They haven't released the dates. They have not released the dates, which I think is so stupid, but it is what it is. Maybe LA if they come to LA, but I don't think they're coming to LA this year. From what I understand, and this is from one of the vendors that was there, they were told they're going to start alternating. So this year you might see Chicago and Florida again. And then 2007, they'll go back to Maya wants to go to Vegas. Ain't flying though. Why not? I'd rather fly. I've done the long drives. The only way I'm driving that far is if I can do what I want to convince my wife to do, which is get a class B RV. But I don't know if I have 100 grand, or they're almost 200 grand for them little vans that are converted into a house. And the reason I want that is because it's the size of my truck and I can park anywhere. Versus actually a full size RV would be a lot cheaper, about a quarter of the price of what I would be paying for one of those. Aquashell Ronaldo will be in March. Oh, they just announced it. You can find the dates on Google. Their site won't show it. Oh, okay. March. Well, that would have been nice if it would have been, the wedding would have been in March. So I guess, Jay, is it true then? Are they doing Florida and Chicago and Dallas this year then? And they're not doing New Jersey or LA? Oh, Skip came in here. How you doing, Skip? I missed you. Let's see. What did Jay said? We're in Florida. Yeah. So I'm gonna go to that. Ideally, if because you see, it's weird how this wedding's gonna work out. Because I'm gonna fly in Friday. I'll be in Orlando on Friday. The wedding is not till Monday. It's a Monday wedding, which is kind of cool in a way. So technically, I would have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I'm not gonna have my wife tag along doing stuff that I know that she doesn't want to do. So if I can do at least Saturday all day, that's what I'm going to try to do. And I'm going to try to do as much as I can in that one day. And then the other days, well, I will do some of the tourist stuff, whatever she wants to do. Or if she doesn't want to do anything, we'll do anything. But yeah, that's kind of like the plan. And I know I have to be in St. Augustine, or at least spend the night there Sunday night. I think it's an afternoon wedding or a noon wedding. And then Tuesday, she doesn't want to fly out, so we won't fly out till Wednesday, whatever the time the flight is. But I'm thinking driving back to Orlando Tuesday night, or to be in Orlando Tuesday night, so that Wednesday morning when we fly out, we're just there and I'm not having to drive, because it's about 2 hours supposedly from St. Augustine. But I just rather spend the night where we're going to be at and not have to spend the morning driving. So that's tentatively what the schedule looks like for that event. April, I think it's the weekend of the 17th or something like that, mid-April. I got invited to go to Mexico City. So that might be something that does happen. And I'm kind of excited because I want to see what it's a fish event that they're having. It's not the biggest one that they have, but it's getting bigger and bigger. This is like a really unique event because it's not just fish. And it's not just fish. It is he's got all sorts of stuff going on. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring him on as a guest, and we're going to talk about what the event's going to be like. But that's going to be in April of 26. And then there's the Kentucky event in June. That one, I need to see how we're doing financially by then. Yeah, that's gonna have to be dependent on that. But I love to be able to get out there. I know several of you guys are going out there. And it puts me closer to a lot more of you guys. So maybe that'll happen. if for some reason June is not in the cards for that, maybe this year, this is the year that I get to go to the Clash. I don't know. It almost happened last year, so maybe this year. Um, but that one is that's wishful thinking as of right now. That's not a done deal. So the shows Orlando. Okay, so without in New Jersey. Okay, so I wonder what happened in LA. Interesting. So they're doing two on the East Coast and two in Central. I don't consider Dallas the West. It's more Central than West, especially Dallas. Dallas is more towards the center of the country than now. If it was El Paso, that would be West. But yeah, I'll probably be vending in Chicago. Awesome. Well, depending on when in Chicago, I don't know. I don't know. That would be nice. I really want to get out there because I want to hang out with Kyle, and by default, I'll be hanging out with Brandon. Who else is out there? Stefan. Um, who are all the Chicago? Oh, Whip. Whip is close enough. Oh, that was not smart. I inhaled a bunch of smoke. That was not good. So that's kind of what the travel plans are for 2026. If maybe I'll be able to get in something later in the year. Um, we'll see. I think if finances are not where I hope for them to be for July or June, um, I might be able to drive up to the event that I went to a couple of years ago in LA because that's not too much of a hardship. That wait, Eddie doesn't know. Eddie has the direct line to know that he pretends that he doesn't know. It's a different story. So he's got the presidential line. He could just pick up the phone and find out. Don't let him fool you. He's got direct line to the man. May 16th and 17th. Okay. See that? No, that's yeah. If I go to that, I definitely won't be able to go to the stuff in June. So that's kind of where the year is looking as of right now. Um, and that's pretty much what I've kind of scripted, I guess. For hey, Linda, um, I will be in Florida at the end of the month in February. We'll be collecting definitely in January with Richard. Oh, that is so cool. And he's in Fort Myers, right? Or is he in the Tampa area? Oh no, yeah, he's more towards I guess the between Miami and Tampa. But those are kind of like the plans I guess I got going on for 2026. Um, definitely stepping up for the interviews. Want that to become be able to get a few Fort Myers. Yeah, yeah. I see in Fort Myers you also have Aqualust. You have Uncle Joe's Fish Shed. Um, I believe Henry is in that area. I don't know if Lucas Brett's is close to that too. So you got a nice concentration of content creators down there in the Fort Myers area. So those are the plans. Keep hearing smoking in the boys' room, doing water chases, singing. So that's what's going on. Definitely be on the lookout for the interview with Luis and myself. I'm all of these people, everybody I've had on, I've been always looking forward to it. Um, it's and it's always been interesting and and entertaining. So those are kind of the plants as of right now. Um, they they're they won't decrease, but they'll definitely increase depending on how the year plays out. But that's kind of what I wanted to do tonight. I don't know if there's anybody else going live or not, but yeah, I don't think I have anything else um, really pressing that I want to. I am working on aquascape. I've been taking pictures, something I don't do. I guess I could share a little bit of what I'm doing. Uh, Let me see if I can get the. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll connect my phone to it so I can show you. But I've kind of set up like my own version of a little dojo for aquascaping. But last night I was playing around in here. I've been taking a few pictures of different ideas. I don't like this one though. But I just wanted to try it out and see what it looked like. But just to kind of give you an idea of what's been going on. Let me see. Let me change the camera setting for back. Turn it sideways. All right, so that's there. Oh, wait, I got to enter the damn thing. Enter the video. Let me turn down the volume. Wait up. There it is. Got rid of the volume. Let me add this to the screen. Oh, it's already up there. Let me make it so that it's okay. No. Oh man, doesn't want to do it. There we go. So that's pretty much it's my if you can see, I kind of taped out the dimensions of the aquarium on that tabletop, and I've kind of been playing around with the different views. Um, it's just kind of a little dojo that's coming on. Hold on, let me go get something real quick. All right, I was about to drop something. Yeah, it's just a little my little thing. I don't know. I'm trying to. I've got different rocks. I've got dragonstone, but that's so cliche that I'm trying to find something different that I can uh that I can uh that I can try. I'm not totally convinced with the rocks that I have there. I like to be able to get some more angular, more how do I want to I guess yeah, just with more angles. Those are too rounded for my liking. I've done too many with that type of scape. That I There's a place out here that I think I'm going to go look at tomorrow and see if I can collect some of those rocks. Um, I wish now that I had picked up some of the petrified wood that they were giving away on um, on marketplace because that's exactly the type of texture and shape that would have been perfect for the idea that I have for the aquascape. So I don't think I'm not gonna use any stem plants in that. Um, I've seen recently some videos of aquascapes with just rock and sand, and I thought they looked pretty good. I've also seen something that is really interesting, and that's one of the reasons why I want to talk to Sweet Johnny. Is he actually has one of these tanks where he was able to put a bonsai tree on top of a rock pile, And I know Adrian from Adrian's Fish Room did something similar, but I think Adrian has it in a pot where I think Johnny might have figured out a way to put it kind of like what we put these plants in there, but I'm not sure. Haven't taken a quick look at his channel to see if he has a channel where he did it. But yeah, that's definitely a conversation I want to have with him about that. It seems to be something that has been going on in Japan for some time. Um, on Facebook, I've come across a lot of these channels that put up pictures of these legitimate real bonsai trees on top of aquascape that is immersed, and I find them super fascinating. Um, so I don't know, maybe that's something. Who was I? I was talking to somebody recently, and I was trying to figure out how bonsais are made, and I can't remember. I was having a conversation with somebody either on a live stream, and I don't know if it was on my channel or somebody else's channel, but we kind of started getting into that, and a lot of it had to do with the soil that they're grown in. But then I don't know if that soil, after you've made them a bonsai, if they have to stay in that. Again, these are all questions that I would have for somebody that is doing that or knows about it. But yeah, that's just kind of what's going on. Some of the things that are bouncing around in my head, and yeah, and that's it. I'm just rambling now. So talk to Rock. Oh, okay. I don't know Rack. I've never had a conversation with him. But yeah, I'll definitely reach out to him, see what he has to say. It's time for the lights to come back on. So I was playing around with trying to use it as backdrop but not have it overlit. But yeah, I know it's academia soil, but what I really want to know is once you have an established bonsai tree for several years, if you can remove it from that soil and have the roots in the water, or kind of like what we do with houseplants. So that's really the conversation I'm interested in having. Okay, well, I'll reach out to him, see what he says. But I think that's all I have for you guys. Again, if you're interested in being a guest, by all means, my emails on that ticker down there. It's Mexicali Fishkeeper at gmail.com. Doesn't get any easier than that. And send me an email. And I love to set something up, and you know we'll have a pleasant conversation. With that being said, thank you guys. Thank you guys for what is it, 4 years now of your guys' constant support and your continued support. And here's to many more to come. So have a great day, and I'm sure we'll come across each other at some either stream today or somebody else's live stream later on down the road. You guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and have a great day. Bye bye. Adios.